A top WWE star has been suspended, but the real reason has been revealed. We've got the backstage reaction to Karrion Kross's shoot promo, and WWE are apparently making an outstanding offer to an ex-AEW champion. Stay tuned for all the deets. So it was announced by Adam Pearce on social media last night that Gunther has been suspended indefinitely from WWE following his brutal attack on Pat McAfee and Michael Cole on this past week's Raw. He went overboard, didn't he?
Oh man,
He turned Pat purple Pat.
He did turn him purple Pat. He did something that I feel like many people who have listened to Pat's commentary recently have wanted to do.
Oh yeah, just yeah. He's living the dream of many a fan right now.
He really hooked in that rear naked choke and just went to town on it. It was actually a really great segment for me. I really enjoyed how straight off that loss at WrestleMania, you would worry that Gunther tapping out so quickly would harm him. Obviously, it hasn't. But he just
It certainly put a bee in his bonnet.
Yeah, it's lit a fire under his ass.
Yeah.
And obviously, there is a suspension here at play. He's been written off.
Fine.
And an undisclosed
amount of money. Maybe like 11 quid, 12 quid. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
We don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long and what the game plan is for this storyline. My assumption is maybe we get Pat in the ring with Gunther,
but Pat's no kind of stranger to jumping in the ring, so it wouldn't be surprising if Pat feels like, no, I want a fair shot at you one-on-one, and still gets absolutely punked out.
Yeah, the other option, and I mentioned it to Aiden in the office, was I'd like to see Wade Barrett stand up for the commentary team and be like, hey Gunther, it's you and me, we're going one-on-one. So I'd quite like that.
Yeah, get the Manics to play him out. They're on tour and everything. It'll work. Yeah. But Corey Hayes of PWN followed up all of these reports and the news dropping that he'd been suspended with the news that Gunther has apparently requested time off from WWE, which is why they're running such an angle.
Yeah, I think he absolutely deserves this time off.
He's been an absolute unit of a champion.
He's been a workhorse ever since his main roster call-up. Yeah, the IC run that went 2 years. Yeah. He's had the World Heavyweight title run. He had the King of the Ring run earlier last year.
He's just re-signed a long-term deal. He's got a tour bus. Let him go drive the tour bus around America like Lex Luger.
Yeah, and he got married last year, so like he does need some time off to be able to just go, okay, let me recover. And on the plus side, as much as we said that him losing hasn't really harmed him, a bit of time off will make that loss be forgotten about a little bit more, so when he comes back out of nowhere, he's instantly credible.
That absence makes the heart grow fonder. How can I miss you if you don't go away? All of the old idioms, you know, it's one of those things where I think when he returns, it's going to be hopefully something massive and not just a TV re-debut. But moving over to more kind of crazy stuff coming out of WrestleMania here. Karrion Kross's promo on the WrestleMania after show with Sam Roberts and Mega Moran. It went semi-viral because of the sort of nature of what he was talking about, and he was very, very impassioned. But it's garnered a lot of praise online from general fans of WWE because of the character work. But according to Fightful Select, Kross doesn't have any heat backstage within WWE over the promo, but apparently it did turn heads within WWE management. The report notes that Kross wasn't scripted in the promo, but neither were other interviews on the show, and one source apparently noted to Fightful that the segment did require some approval prior to airing due to the language used, but numerous WWE stars have reportedly reached out to Kross to check on him and thank him for cutting a promo in a way that could work for both his character, both on and off screen. So it does open the doors for many people to start working with Kross in kind of storyline manner.
And it's kind of opened the doors for other people within WWE to start building their character online and allowing that to bleed over. We saw this first maybe with Drew. It was massively successful with his character has undergone such a change in the past 2 years, and Kross looks to be following that sort of archetype.
He was someone who felt like, for lack of a better way of putting it, and it sounds really harsh, but he's somebody that felt for the longest time, knowing what we know about him as a worker, as a character, it was like he'd been neutered a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
And it was like they just sort of took all the wind out of his sails, and it was like, just let him cook, right? Let him do what he wants to do for a bit, because that's ultimately, if you give him that chance, he's going to rip your hands off and he's going to run with it. That's what we know about him, right? So, like, I mean, ever since Lucha Underground days, man.
Yeah, the White Rabbit stuff.
Like, it's sort of, he's always been able to be this captivating character, so let him go with it. So I'm excited to see where it's going to end up for him.
Absolutely. And his stuff on TV, it looks like it's bleeding over into that. We've seen him appear in the run-up to WrestleMania with the AJ Styles Logan Paul feud, and it looks like his character's returning a little bit to what he was in on NXT, but with a much more grounded reality to him.
You can go off the deep end a little bit too quickly.
Yeah, and to compare him to Drew one more time, the fact that Drew's character feels like a real person.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel like, hey, I'm a Scottish psychopath warrior.
Yeah.
Karrion doesn't feel like this spooky gimmick anymore that's coming from the wasteland or whatever, or this fallen prey, the time thing. He now genuinely feels...
From the outer reaches of your mind.
Yeah, he genuinely feels like a guy that is trying to get into the heads of his opponents.
Yeah.
Or make a change and be a disruptor. And it's so refreshing to see
I'm
from
just
him.
all for reinvention. Gimmick reinvention. Yes, let this be the year, because now we've started the year again. It's post-Mania. I want to see Kross on an absolute tear. But apparently, according to WrestleVotes, this might be happening.
Yeah.
Because Karrion Kross is expected to get extended opportunities on TV, with a report saying that while it won't be a full-on push, it's going to be a way to continue his character growth in different ways outside the ring. Kross reportedly has several fans within WWE Creative who are pushing for him to get more opportunities now.
This is great news. I'm intrigued with the wording of extended opportunities outside of the ring. Is he going to be what we've seen in the past few months, where he's just in the background of things and sort of influencing people? If you look at everyone he has interacted with, they've all turned heel or become like a bit of a dick.
Just have him turn up on a Logan Paul video and like trash his car and burn his house down or something.
Something like that. Yeah. Either way, I've never been the biggest Karrion Kross fan from when his original WWE run.
Yeah.
And it has only been in the past few months where I've got on that bandwagon. And I think a lot of people watching this will say the same, in the fact that only in the past few months have they gone, okay, his character work is at another level. Oh, his in-ring work has improved massively over what he was in NXT or his last run in WWE.
Feels like he's got something to prove. And I think that's kind of it's always been whenever you hear Triple H in the past talk about like people, it's like it's always people who want to prove something that tend to resonate most within those spheres of higher WWE internal stuff.
He's grabbing that brass ring and everyone can see it and is appreciating it.
Well, we also had the return of a rather controversial figure from this past week last night, didn't we, Fraser?
Yes, indeed. Nia Jax made her return on SmackDown last night, and she went straight for Tiffany Stratton. Now, Tiffany was confronted by Jade Cargill, who'd come down at the ring being like, I want at WrestleMania, I want a match with you. That went to a no contest because Naomi got involved, so it looks like we're still getting some more Naomi versus Jade Cargill stuff, but Nia Jax, this allowed her to sneak in the ring, take down the women's champion, and hit her with an annihilator. I'm glad we're going back to this story, but I want to see Tiffany do something fresher.
Yeah, I think that like it's a safe feud, I think, to sort of let it bubble away for a while, but I'd be interested in seeing what the payoff is, where it's going. But that's the ride, right? That's what we're here for. So I'd be keen to see Tiffany sort of, maybe do something different, but at the same time, I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it doesn't really change much.
I wouldn't be opposed to Tiffany versus Nia versus Jade versus Naomi in a four-way match at Backlash or something that keeps that unpredictable, because if there's anyone else on the SmackDown women's roster that deserves a women's title run for their character work, for their in-ring work, it's Naomi.
Yeah.
And I feel like this year will be that year for her. Maybe that's why you don't put them together immediately.
Maybe that's why you sort of got to keep them apart for just a little bit. But on the flip side of WrestleMania week, somebody who was turning heads over WrestleMania week, Natalya, she's been announced for further non-WWE stuff. So she's been announced for an upcoming NWA Women's Championship match against Kenzie Page, with Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins fame, making the announcement that the match will take place at the Crockett Cup in Philadelphia on May 17th.
Does Natalya win the title? I feel like it's realistic.
It feels like a belt that Natalya could carry, and Natalya's name could restore a lot of sort of like... Well, it could get a lot of eyes on the NWA title.
It's the attention, and we've only seen Natalya work Bloodsport outside of WWE in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
How does Natalya look in NWA? What style is she going to work? Is she going to be working like she would in WWE? If she gets the title, will she appear on WWE with that title, or is she just there to put over Kenzie?
I feel like Natalya could be like, so she's somebody who's been criticized for not really having very strong character work for her entire career.
That farting gimmick was great.
But I think that, like, weirdly, if you have Natalya as this absolute smashing machine outside of WWE, this, like, unstoppable, murderous, technical wrestling force, and whenever she comes back to WWE, she's just nice old Natty. It's like a proper serial killer gimmick. It's like it's sort of like it's weird. It's like she's just
don't
like
mess with her.
Yeah, don't mess with her, because you know what she's like when
as soon as the workday finishes, she snaps.
She just goes to a bar and starts fighting people. Apparently,
I'd be up for that. Yeah. If she wins, though, it will be really intriguing to see if WWE acknowledges her as NWA Women's Champion.
They had a working relationship with the NWA in the 90s. We saw NWA titles on WWF TV back in the day. It wouldn't be entirely surprising under the new regime, and also I wouldn't be entirely surprised if it's like, hey, we're just going to buy the NWA. But at the same time, I think that it'd be nice if Natty does win, to acknowledge that, to acknowledge the history of the National Wrestling Alliance. Obviously, historically, the WWF broke away from the NWA. It's the impetus for what would become the monolith that WWE is. So I think that it'd be nice to have it on screen. Yeah, definitely. But on the other side of the fence, so over on AEW, there's been some rumblings regarding somebody's contract. There's been some rumblings regarding maybe them not staying with AEW. But WrestleVotes are reporting that WWE has heavy interest in former AEW Women's Champion Mariah May, and that they're prepared to make an outstanding offer to bring her to the company, which was compared by WWE sources to as a full court press, which apparently is basketball terminology for putting pressure on your opponent in every area. Thank you, Jack the Jobber.
I didn't even have to ask Jack. I was buzzing. I was dreading having to message Jack at this, today on a weekend, when he's busy doing what Jack the Jobber does on the weekend, asking for a basketball term. I knew that one.
Nice. Well, the report continues and states there's no indication of how the actual negotiations are going to go, but WWE will have heavy interest when she's available to speak with them. And finally, the report states that a number of people in the WWE have said, yes, we are absolutely interested. Yes, she fits our TV show. Yes, she fits our brand. And I can see Mariah May already there holding a women's title.
I can see her there.
She just slots into WWE perfectly.
I have two feelings on this. Yes, I completely agree. She would be fantastic in WWE. She's a fantastic character, a fantastic wrestler. At the same time, she is also a perfect fit for AEW and has been like the figurehead of that division alongside Toni Storm. And it would be such a shame for them to lose Mariah when she has had such a fantastic run, propelled straight to the top of the company and just consistently stayed at that level. We know that reports have indicated that prior to AEW Revolution, she did say to them she wouldn't be renewing her contract.
Yeah.
And it looks like WWE is going to scoop her up at the first possible opportunity.
It's time to dust off the rocket and strap it to that sprightly young, never wins anything money, and have her become the new mega face of the women's division. When are they going to do anything with Mercedes beyond the mid card?
Hey, she's in that Owen. She's in the Owen. She's getting that title match. Probably all in.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Is she going to lose the other ones first?
Nah.
Okay. Just all of them. She is the whole women's division. But yes, that is it for your second dose of Weekend Bumper Wrestling news. Now, you might be noticing we are not in the usual setup, and this video has come a lot later than the standard video, and that's because right now on the channel, youtube.com/cultaholic/live, Adam Pacitti is going through hell. Hell in a Smell 6. And this is by far the worst thing we've ever done. Tune in now. Quickly go look at it. What are you doing here watching? He's going through absolute hell.
It's horrendous. The smell is horrendous.
Yeah, the aircon systems are sort of linked here. We've had to sort of try and close off upstairs. It's bad. It's really bad. But it's the worst thing we've ever done. And also, it's going to be a long one by the looks of things. So if you are a part of our Patreon, patreon.com/cultaholic, you get exclusive access to a 24/7 bedroom camera.
A bedroom cam.
You can watch Adam have a lovely little sleep later on.
Or not sleep.
Yeah, maybe not sleep, because we know what you're like, but you know.
Patreon.com/cultaholic, sign up and you can watch that. It's horrendous. Go and watch it.
Is he going to get in that thing? Oh God, it smelled so bad.
I don't even want to think about it.
Oh.